So, yeah, I had it before my daughter was born. She's 22, so yeah, that would be the end. Mr. Stroller.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Dunn, you understand that would be the end of the video and audio of your interview with the police?
Yes, sir.
And you have no objection to the rest of it being deleted or left out?
None.
Okay. All right.
And Judge, how about the ones that were previously agreed to, but I don't think have been mentioned on the record?
The
The other grayed out areas in the earlier pages
Oh.
of the transcript.
right.
Several comments about what the boys, the victims were. We believe that may come close to a Florida Supreme Court case that came out last year, so we took those out on our own. We also took out what Mr. Strolla asked us to about the defendant's prior DUI. So I want to make sure he also agrees with those statements
Okay.
coming out.
I mean, those were things that, Mr. Stroller, you had requested be deleted previously anyway.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so there are other things, Mr. Dunn, that are grayed out, that they've been grayed out for quite some time. And you understand that those aren't coming in there, which is one of the reasons I read this instruction, because this video is going to look like it's been edited to some degree. But you're in agreement with those other areas which we'd already really talked about, or your attorney had, not coming in as part of the video.
I am, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so we're good to go on the video, so we can call the witness, and then after the witness, we go to the video. Is that the way you're planning on doing that?
Yes, sir. But we'll have to put a witness on for the video.
Right.
Just like the Musser, and they're redacting the video as we speak. They'll have to just drive it over here from our office, which is still a mile away.
Yes, yes.
But they're working on it right now, Judge. The way we've agreed to it makes it much easier, so we should have that.
Well, other than those two witnesses, are there additional witnesses that you anticipate in rebuttal?
Judge, oh, I apologize. There's just one other line, if I can see the state.
Just a minute.
Judge, we may have one more witness to queue up and just play a couple of his jail calls to rebut something he said on the stand.
Okay.
Judge, if they do that, I'd like to know what it is. We've had some pretrial discussions about that. I want to make sure those
Okay,
are clear.
Carter, we talked about buzzing.
I would like to know the date, time, and call, Judge.
Ms. Corey, he needs
Before
to know
they-
the date, time, and call,
Yes, sir.
so that if we need to discuss it, because I don't know anything about what might be used in that regard.
We will get him the dates of the calls and try to get him to place the cues up to that's specifically what it goes to. Is
All right.
he himself uses the phrase buzz music, which he denied on the stand today, and I think there's 2 phone calls.
Okay, well, we just need to get those particular two and get them queued up. Now, you had something else, Mr. Stroh?
Judge, I just think there's one line in here right before the state starts redacting. I think there's one more that I need to speak with the state to see if they'll agree. If not, I can address it with the court.
Go right ahead.
Excuse me, page 1.
Page 21, it's the last line right before we gray out Musser's last part of that paragraph. Page, my 21 of 37.
You talking about where Musser's talking?
Yes, Your Honor, yes, Your Honor, the very last line in black right before the gray.
What's he gonna, oh, I'm gonna kill you and get out of the car, and we're talking about a kid.
And I'm not agreeing to gray that out, Judge. There's nothing objectionable about that point. I think the following sentence is, and I'd like to get that on the record, you know how many times this kid's been to jail? Never. He has no history of violence in this. It's not like we're getting some street bug. I think that statement and that one alone could come close to violating the opinion in the Jackson case.
Okay, well, that's why it's out.
Well, that's,
So,
he took that out.
I understand, Mr. Stroller, what, is it that last sentence you're talking about?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe that's
Where
also,
it starts what's,
yes, Your Honor.
and the reason you want it out is what?
It's very similar to prior improper good character, and it also is bolstering the state's case about he's a child, Mr. Dunn's a man, it's not self-defense. Part of the instruction they're gonna get is you may consider the size. I think that's improper, and it still goes on that same line of the last two sentences, Judge. It's improper bolstering.
It doesn't even come close to the last two. The last two talk about I assume we're talking about Jordan Davis, that he's never been to jail,
Right.
and he has no history of violence.
And again,
And this is the officer talking, the detective, and it's
Right.
not like we're getting some street thug,
Right.
which the state has agreed to take out.
correct, Your Honor.
The part prior to that, I don't see anything wrong with it, so your objection's overruled.
And Judge, for purposes of documenting the record, would you like for me to put three things in there? A copy of the full video, a copy of the redacted video, and the transcripts that go with each that show what we voluntarily took out and then what we agreed to today? So that there's a full record.
Probably, that would be
Put
best.
it in as court.
Well, the redacted video is gonna be in evidence.
Sure.
The full video I would have as I guess we could call it a court exhibit. The transcript of the full video would also be a court exhibit. And probably would just call the transcript of the redacted video another court exhibit because the jury's not gonna get it.
I'll put that, what I'll do is indent under that on our exhibit list and put it in there, but it will never be seen by the
Right.
jury. It'll just come in as an exhibit.
Is that all right with you, Mr. Stroller, to do it that way?
Yes, Your Honor. And those, again.
Not that you would necessarily know about all that, Mr. Dunn, but is that all right with you that we do it that way? I mean, these things need to be in the record so that if there's an appeal, they'll be part of the record and some appellate court could look at what the full video was and they'll have a better sense of what was taken out. And they'd have a transcript of both so they could compare the two. You understand? All right.
And if I could just let my client know, that does not go back to the jury, just the evidence of the redacted video.
The only thing that would go back to the jury is the disc that shows the actual video and audio. They won't even get a transcript of what I'm calling a redacted version of your interview. They just get to see the video and the audio part of it. You understand that? Okay. All right. Can we resume? Or, well, I'm just curious as to, when we put this witness on, are we going to then take another break while we're waiting for this redacted version to make its way from your office that's over a mile away?
Judge, they're very close to having it done. I can only promise you that it's a top priority and they know that. And they'll get it here as quickly as they possibly can.
Well, why don't we, I don't want to keep them waiting, but when I bring them back in, I don't want to really be up and down, up and down. Well, because I'd rather do this witness and get right into that video, because it's 45 minutes worth of video. I wish what we could do while we're sitting here waiting to know that the video's gotten back to this building is queue up these calls for Mr. Strolla, so if we need to talk about those, we need to talk about them now.
Okay, yes, sir.
So let's do that. Sure. Yes, ma'am. All right. So, we're back to calling a witness and then playing the video, and there's a move afoot to reach a stipulation as to two of these phone calls and what may have been said. And so whoever's going to work on that can work on that while we're doing this other bit of business. So is the state ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Strolla?
So right, Your Honor.
So I'll bring the jurors out and tell them that the state intends to call or put on some rebuttal evidence. Is that what you want me to say, Ms. Corey?
I'm sorry, Judge, I was asking about the video.
I'll bring the jury out and tell them that the state is going to put on some rebuttal evidence.
Yes, Your Honor.
That acceptable to you, Mr. Strolla?
Yes,
Okay. Bring the jury on in.